this is Christina Barn. You're watching Black Tea News. Hello, welcome to Black Tea News. I'm your host, Christina Barr, and today we are going to be talking about Dianne Feinstein's replacement has been announced by California Governor Gavin Newsome, and lots of excitement because she's a Black lesbian and the first openly Black lesbian, and blah blah blah. Big problem. She appears to not be from California. Which is hilarious because, you couldn't find one out there, of all places. So there's that. Also, Jamaal Bowman, people have been talking about this, at least on the interwebs, all weekend. But he apparently pulled a fire alarm over the weekend, like when they were trying to do a pretty important vote to pause the vote. And he claims he was just trying to open the doors. And so you have to ask the question, do you think he's that stupid? Someone who served as like a principal doesn't know how a fire alarm works. Also, Trump campaign did some antics with Nikki Haley that were really silly, that I want to share. Also, DeSantis and Trump going back and forth. They were both in California, both gave a speech. And DeSantis had a pretty good, Trump is claiming, to make that he made Florida red, made DeSantis, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. And I want to show you his response. So things are heating up, at least as far as antics in the primary, but also a bit, I think something that's maybe concerning for Trump in the end game is Kennedy is thinking about running as an independent. So I don't think that will be great for Trump. And we'll see if that takes more votes away from Biden or if it takes more votes from Trump. But we'll have to discuss it. But Kennedy thinks that his people, like Trump people, will cross over and maybe support Kennedy. So we'll see. We'll talk about it, and you guys can let me know what you think. But before we jump into everything, I want to encourage you guys to go to blacktnews.com, check out different content on my website, different articles, different videos, etc. I do want to thank the Brighter Michigan Pack. I'm in their studio today, so I'm thankful to be in here. Let me pull up their little logo. They are great partners as far as trying to get good conservatives elected in Michigan. So if you are in Michigan, they're a great organization to get with. I was just talking, with someone for the pack about how they're going to get delegates together and do different trainings and other things like that. So we're going to make sure that we're ready during election time in Michigan. So it takes people to get that done and good organizations to get that done and good structure. And they're a great organization. So I'm grateful to be in the studio at a time when I needed to. So grateful to the Brighter Michigan Pack. So if you like what I do here, please go to blacktnews.com, check out different content on my website, check out different merchandise that we got, like the I'm Not the Victim You're Looking For shirt. We got that. We also got other stuff like this Denounce White Supremacy, Defeat Joe Biden shirt with a list of some of his racism on the back. Actually, I have different books you guys can check out as well. I have 17 that are published, and this is a book with just 15 of them. I haven't uploaded the one with the 17 yet, but 2 are nonfiction. The rest are fiction. So I write middle grade chapter books. I actually have some picture books, but I don't have them out yet. But so I do write, like, I guess as young as possible all the way up, basically. But you guys can check out that. You guys can check out my book, of course, God is Blatantly Against Abortion. Thank you to those of you who read it and checked it out. And I was glad to read some good reviews for it. So thank you very much. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it, that it's helping people, and then they're glad that they got the book. But it covers theology, it covers rights, it covers science, it covers philosophy, it goes through a lot of different things. So I encourage you guys to check out that book as well as some other ones that I've written. You guys can just go ahead and look me up on Amazon. So also, if you like what I do, you can leave a donation at blacktnews.com/donate. It does cost a stream, around my website, all that stuff, so you guys can support in that way. Thank you very much. There are links to the website and to the donate page in the description. You guys can also give via stars on Facebook or super chat on YouTube, and you guys can also support. I have an Amazon wish list. It's very short right now. But it's also linked as well. Some people asked about like helping with like cameras and other things like that, because I had a bit of a malfunction and stuff with some stuff that I had going on. So I need to upgrade some stuff. I might have to upgrade this computer too. It's not, I haven't heard it rattling today, but the fan was crazy. But anyway, let's jump to it. I do have a meme that goes right into the subject of the day. I guess one of the main subjects of the day. By the way, shout out to everyone watching, people in the chat. I see you guys. Thank you to those of you who watch it, later on your drive back from work, or whatever time you watch it, when you're cooking dinner or whatnot. I do appreciate you. Thank you very much. So this is a pretty famous meme that people just repurpose. Bowman is too stupid to understand the words fire alarm, or Bowman pushed the fire alarm to delay the vote. Democrats in the media. So there's a question for you. Is he too dumb to know what a fire alarm is? Or did he try to delay the vote? Questions. I think he tried to delay the vote and push a fire alarm. That's what I think. There's some people covering for him, saying it's just very confusing because there's all these signs on the door. It signs like emergency exit, but you push on the door and then it unlocks. And some people, Peter Meyer and I saw some other people weighed in and said, hey, people do use these doors, especially on nice days or whatever. But you wouldn't think to push the alarm to open the door. It just doesn't make any sense. So I think he tried to delay the vote. So AOC went on Jake Tapper's show to talk about it, and she tried to say it was just the stress, I guess, of the vote and just everything compounding. It just made everything so very, very confusing, I guess.
He says it was an accident. He thought pulling the alarm would open a door based on the fact that the doors to his right there were locked, and there was a sign that he said he was, I think someone said it was confusing. I'll be honest, it doesn't really make sense to me, his explanation. Have you talked to him? What's going on there?
I mean, listen, I think if you actually do see some of the photos of the signs, I think there's something to be said about the government's about to shut down. There's a vote clock that's going down. The exits that are normally open in that building were suddenly closed.
So you pulled the fire alarm?
So what I am here to say is that House administration and U.S. Capitol Police and Jamaal Bowman are an active, and he's fully participating in saying there was a misunderstanding. But what I do think is important to raise is the fact that Republicans, representatives like Nicole Malliotakis and others, immediately moved to file motions to censure, motions to expel, before there has even been conversations that are finished to even see if there was a misunderstanding here.
So then she went to like a big rant about them supporting other people, and it turned into a whataboutism from there. But I don't know if he pulled the fire alarm to delay the voting. Censoring him probably isn't that a bad thing to do. if he's just doing those sort of antics, that's not appropriate. People like, I don't think expelling him from Congress or something, that's, not going to happen. Getting him kicked off committees or something, maybe that's going to happen. But should they be moving as soon as, before investigation is over? I don't know, but like it seems pretty clear cut. He was a high school. I mean, I don't know if it was high school, but he was a school principal. I've been to school before. I've been in buildings. You've been in buildings, I assume. When you see fire alarms, have you ever, like, sometimes you go to a hospital or something and the doors are closed and you're like, how do you open this door? If you're going from like one section to another, or like, I don't know, emergency into the back or something, and they may have to press a button, or there's a big button on the wall, or there's some kind of sign and you have to use your, I don't know, critical thinking skills and whatnot, and you can figure out how to open the door. Someone will open the door, but never once have I been like, let me pull this fire alarm, because I'm sure that's how the doors are supposed to just open, and the alarm, even though it says fire alarm, won't sound. That's not how it works. That's not how it works, guys. It's not how it works. So, I'm sorry, Bowman, but like it's not. It looks like every typical fire alarm. So I'm sorry. It just doesn't work. He said, I want to personally clear up the confusion surrounding today's events. Today, as I was rushing to make a vote, I came to a door that is usually open for votes, but today would not open. I am embarrassed to admit that I activated the fire alarm mistakenly, thinking it would open the door. I regret this and sincerely apologize for any confusion this caused. And he says it wasn't him trying to get out of voting. He was trying to urgently vote. What he ultimately did. It doesn't make sense. They did vote for it, to keep the government, going and stuff, even without like the funding or whatever for Ukraine, which he'll just make up for later. But they were trying to buy time because they wasn't sure they want to go along with it, but they got outfoxed by McCarthy and they went along with it or whatever. So just because you voted for it doesn't mean that you weren't trying to delay. And I mean, if he's correct and he's just stupid, at least we got a laugh out of it. Now, Bowman is a character, a bit of a disruptor. Maybe you guys saw this video with him and Massey yelling, going back and forth some time ago over guns. And so here's just a little trip down memory lane.
Allows teachers to carry.
Carry guns?
Would you
more guns lead
co-sponsor?
to more death.
Would you co-sponsor?
More guns lead to more death.
Would you co-sponsor?
Look at the data. You're not looking at any data. You're
the
carrying
data.
the water for the gun lobby.
No.
Look at the data. More guns lead to more deaths. States that have open carry laws have more deaths.
In every school
States
that
that have open carry laws have more deaths. Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Calm down.
Calm down. Children are dying.
I know. I've got a
9-year-old children. The solution is not arming teachers.
That's
Have you ever
worked
worked
in
in a
every
school?
school. In
Have
every
you
school
ever
that's
worked in
not
a school?
In every
Have you ever worked in a school?
Have you ever worked in a school, sir, with the fire alarm to know how fire drills and doors work? But yeah, that I remember that exchange. I'm like, Bowman. I mean, there's other things that Bowman did, but that outburst about the kids dying. Mind you, that Bowman, you voted to not give medical care to children who survive abortion, but I'm not saying he doesn't care about kids shot or anything like that, but I'm just saying that they just there doesn't appear to be some consistency there for the caring for the children. But yeah. Speaking of antics, though, oh boy. So I'll get to the Trump campaign in a second, but let's talk about Newsome. So Dianne Feinstein died last week, 90 years old, and obviously coming. Um, she served a long time and was very old, obviously 90 years old, and they'd wheel her into votes, and it just seemed, I don't know if elder abuse is a strong word, strong term, but it was a lot. It was like she shouldn't be here. She should, be home. But anyway, she passed away. So Newsome, she obviously that seat was going to be up for grabs. There's people trying to run for Senate, and Newsome wanted to. He said he would get a black woman, and he also said that they would be like a placeholder, and because he doesn't want to interfere with the race or whatever. So I guess the placeholder thing contingent is gone. But he has selected someone, but this person that he has selected is apparently not a resident of California. So that's interesting. At least I think it's interesting. Let me go ahead and read what he wrote, at least about his selection here. But some people are like, how can this happen? Well, Dr. Oz was also a carpetbagger. So that was an issue with his campaign, but that was his campaign. This is Newsome appointing someone. He wanted a black woman, but it does seem strange that he can't find a black woman, apparently, in actual California. So he's proud to announce, I'm going to zoom this a little bit. I'm proud to announce California's new United States Senator, LaFonza Butler, as we mourn the enormous loss of Senator Feinstein, the very freedom that she fought for, reproductive freedom, equal protection, and safety from gun violence, have never been under greater assault. So I'm going to finish a statement, but I always think it's strange when people call it reproductive freedom, because reproduction has already happened. You could just say abortion, but abortion doesn't sound great to people. So even people who support it, so that's why they say that. But yeah, reproduction's already happened. Equal protection, not from the womb, obviously. But I digress. LaFonza has spent her entire career fighting for women and girls, and has been a fierce advocate for working people. She will make history, becoming the first Black lesbian to openly serve in the U.S. Senate, from her time as president of Emily's List to leading the state's largest labor union. She has always stood up for what is right and has led with her heart and her values. I have no doubt she will carry the baton led by Senator Feinstein to continue to break glass ceilings and fight for all Californians in Washington. And you know what? She doesn't have to go that far, guys. She doesn't have to go that far, because she apparently lives in Maryland. I'm not going to play the video that they made. But apparently lives in Maryland. So people were looking her up, but it didn't take long to look up and find this little fact, because Emily's List, which they are like scrubbing information as far as her living in Maryland, but that said she lived in Maryland. There's different FEC filings that said she lived in Maryland as well. Also, there's this, says Maryland. So, well, who cares? She's a Black lesbian, guys. She's a Black lesbian, so it doesn't matter. And she's someone who fundraises for women who support abortion, and has fundraised a buttload of money. A bit of maybe, I don't know, pay for play is kind of a strong term, but maybe just, she scratched a lot of backs, and that's someone that they probably want to give the good attaboy with. But again, she's not from California. There, how insulting is it to? It's not like there's not Democrats in the state. It's super Democrat majority in California. There's so many Democrats. So you could have easily found a black female Democrat, because most black women are Democrats. So to find someone who lives in Maryland, and people are questioning, like, can this even be done and stuff? I guess he did it. He did. And again, Oz did not live in Pennsylvania as well. And if that's news to you, no, that's another reason why people didn't like him so much. So I wonder how many people might be upset about this, or are they like, yeah, my black lesbian. I don't know. But she is a Newsome referred to her as a longtime California resident and homeowner. And she moved to the DC area when she became president of Emily's List. And she will register in California before being sworn in. Okay. 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 This is an article from Business Insider. I only read a little bit. Butler's decision may have little legal bearing, as the Congressional Research Service pointed out in 2015. Federal courts have routinely rejected state-led efforts to improve additional qualifications on congressional candidates, including residency requirements. California's own summary of qualifications for its March 2024 Senate primary says there is no durational residency requirement. So, I guess if she wants to go ahead and run beyond disappointment and stuff, she's free to do that. So, I'm not from California. She's not representing me. So it's not, I can complain about it, but if you're out in California, you can let me know what you think about that as far as representation. But what's done is done. Newsome is doing. I mean, she's not sworn in yet, but I'm sure they'll do it very soon. So that's what Governor Newsome is doing, making sure they got that black lesbian vote, I suppose. At least she's making history. Doesn't matter if she's living in Maryland. Moving on, I do want to note that, and I've said this many times, Abbott has really got these people in blue states as far as getting them to backtrack or be upset by making them live by their own ethics as far as illegal immigration, because people would cross the border, and Governor Abbott of Texas would bus people to Illinois to have them be in Chicago, or bus them to New York. And DeSantis had his stunt with like Martha's Vineyard and stuff, and that was funny too. But they couldn't. They're like, we'll help you and we'll help you leave. We don't have space. But Abbott has been consistently doing this, and it's been working. People were just calling it a stunt at first, but New York is tapped out. And Eric Adams, he's already expressed this, but you have the governor now who has had enough. And so people are making some compilation videos. There's one that was really good, but it had that I was wanted to show you guys, but it had the song "The New York dreams are made of," and I didn't want to get dinged by copyright, so I couldn't share that with you. So the DeSantis War Room at least shared this particular one. So not as good as the other one, but let's watch it.
Our message to the world is: send us your people, send us those who need the cloak of comfort that we can demonstrate as New Yorkers with big hearts and open arms, and we'll provide a safe haven.
Want them to have a limit on who can come across the border. It is too open right now.
If you're going to leave your country, go somewhere else.
You're going to start seeing people living in tents, not just on the border, but in the streets of New York.
We're at capacity.
They're at capacity. Look at that. Don't you think Texas is at capacity? So they want people still come in. They just are like, we're full and they can go elsewhere or whatever. But if you identify as a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state or whatever, you live by your own ethics and let these people come in. Now, I don't think these people should come in. We should, legal immigration is fine, but what we're having right now is just chaos. That is not sustainable. And they won't pressure their own party to really do something about it, to have Biden and them really do something about it, but they know that they're tapped out. And their residents are letting them know that they're tapped out. So people who trash Abbott and stuff, like it's just a stunt, it's not going to work or whatever, it has certainly left a mark, and it has educated people in a way that they have not seen. But you know what? There's so many people, they're so sure of an issue until they're confronted with it. They're so sure of an issue until they are confronted by it. And same thing with immigration, like happens with abortion all the time. People are like, oh, I'm pro-choice, until they actually like watch an abortion or they see some facts. Like I've hear people who switch from being pro-choice to pro-life because they saw what actually happens, or they looked at data at the reasons why women actually have abortions, or they listened to some of these activists and how they talk and how extreme they are. And I guess they have these, it's I don't like it, but I'm charitable to the woman to allow this or whatever. And then they realize how many people were kind of just using it as birth control and taking advantage of the situation and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people who have strong positions, but they haven't really researched it. They haven't thought too much about it. And they're just they're being driven by surface level emotions. And they're not too deep in it. And I wonder how much worse it's going to get for people beyond Illinois and, and people in Chicago and people in New York. I wonder how it's going to impact people in suburban areas here where I live. I live in Oakland County, and there's been some reports over the weekend by our sheriff that there are gangs of illegal criminals, as in like illegal aliens and stuff. Obviously, gangs are doing illegal things. I guess maybe not all gangs, but you get what I'm saying. That are coming together and they're hitting houses, like upper end houses. So if they're going on wet bandits on us, I'm sure they're more competent than the wet bandits, but that's going to cause some people to start, questioning things and looking the other way, like, oh shoot, we started to vote blue for a little bit, because Oakland County was red and it switched and it's now blue. But if you have people coming in, people who've crossed the border, it's spilling over, and all these people who shouldn't be in the country, who are in these gangs, and they're hitting these high-end houses, and your house could be next. It's not just, crime going on, and like you drive by Pontiac and you drive by Detroit and all these places, and you don't think about them too often, but when you have to worry about someone breaking into your house, maybe hurting your kids, stealing your stuff gets a little more real. And then you have to contemplate your vote a little more seriously, because it's finally reached home. I did not like hearing that news over the weekend. I don't like seeing any of this, and how crazy the border is. I don't like seeing it at all. But it's getting crazy. By the way, Elon Musk went to the border, I suppose just to draw some attention to it, and I'm glad that he is. I mean, he had tweeted out, U.S. Border Patrol just reported the highest number of recorded illegal immigrants in history at over 260,000 this month. The full number, including unrecorded, may be over 500,000 per month, which is the population of Wyoming. So, I mean, you got enough people coming in to replace the population of like entire states. What do you think that will do to our resources, to what we can handle, to voting patterns if they can vote? if there's some kind of massive amnesty that happens. Which those are important questions to also ask in presidential debates. I was very, raised my eyebrow when Mike Pence wouldn't, answer a couple questions regarding that. You know, those are important things that can kind of cut, the folks out of the race. Some name differences, though really the race is between Trump is still far away ahead of everybody right now. That doesn't mean it's impossible for anyone else to win. FYI, DeSantis has good ground game in Iowa and stuff, and they could be a slow build. And he's kind of finally starting to take it to Trump, and he's had some good interviews and other stuff, especially like over this past weekend. But Haley, Trump, DeSantis, I think those are only, and I'm sorry if you like someone else. I think those are the kind of only serious names. I think Vivek I know a lot of people really like Vivek. I do not like Vivek. But he seems to be losing steam a bit. And he's trying to revamp himself, though. That was very clear in the debate. But yeah, we need to know exactly, I believe all of them want to do something about the border, but what happens? To what degree are you going to be deporting people or making sure that people are not rewarded for their bad behavior is a good question. Because there's a lot of people who've come in at this point. And again, this is not something people just think like, oh, they come in and they don't care about these border towns. If they're far up in the interior of the country, but it's impacting people everywhere, or starting to. And now it's hitting a little closer to home. So those suburban moms who swore off the Republican Party, started voting Dem and don't like Trump and all this other stuff. What are you going to do when, again, someone might hit your home who shouldn't be here? That was a pretty concerning news report. Pretty concerning. So just something to think about. I think a win is very possible for Team Red. You just need some really good candidates who aren't just against something and getting people excited because I'm against this, I'm going to fight this, I'm going to fight this. We need people who are going to fight for something. We need people who are going to have principles and govern competently and being able to, people who are strong with their convictions, but can explain them well and be persuasive, but also, make sure the trains run on time, other stuff like that, that can get independents or even moderates or whatever to consider you. But we do need good candidates to run. It's very possible to win because Biden is unpopular. I love the reports now. They're like, oh, they really liked Bidenomics and stuff, which was a dumb move because so many people are upset about the economy. And you go to the grocery store to buy bacon and it's $9. I know about the bacon because my mom was complaining about it. And and you're like, this is Bidenomics. That doesn't look good on Biden. That doesn't make people feel good about wanting to vote for Biden. So I think people are obviously very much looking for other options. Democrats want someone else to run, but it's looking like they will not obviously allow that to happen. Are they going to push the old man out, force him out to resign or something like that? Who knows? I don't think they feel like they have to and they can gamble and risk it or whatever. And a lot of them really fall in line, but we'll see what happens. On that note, Robert Kennedy Jr. has been running in the Democrat primary, but he knows he's not going to get a fair shot. And it's been pretty evident from the beginning. They have an incumbent president. They're not going to give someone else another shot to run against him. That would be very bad for, the the Democrat Party if they allowed that to happen, or if the fact that someone even wants to run a serious campaign against him isn't good anyway. But they're not going to plan debates or anything like that. They're not entertaining it at all. So Kennedy is thinking about just running as an independent now. And I've talked about Kennedy on the show. I've talked about some different interviews that he's had, especially regarding like COVID and stuff. I can't speak to all the things that he like says about other things as far as medical freedom and whatnot. But looking at some stuff, I'm like, okay, the media did this, whatever. But it was always interesting to me how many people were promoting him or seemed to like him, and that's fine if you can like somebody that you disagree with. But someone, like I asked someone, I guess it was today, like, why do you like Kennedy? And this is someone was like on my page. So not everybody who follows me is a Republican or conservative, but I asked like, why do you like him? And they're like, well, because he's an outsider. I'm like, this man is a Kennedy. Like maybe he's an outsider for the Kennedys or Dems or whatever. He's still like a Kennedy. They said that he's anti-establishment, and I'm like, well, what kind of establishment? Like, I understand that he's like against big pharma, and he's not like big war, but he's still like voting with the Dems on like, I don't know, 90 other percent, probably higher than that, with every other thing. He still like wants to ban fracking and very pro environmentalist stuff. He's still not going to be good for your guns. Still not going to be good for abortion rights and other things like, banning abortion, other stuff like that that we still like and want to push for our people on the right. So if all that matters to you is that he's ticking other people off, I don't think that's good. But that's attractive to a lot of people on the right, especially if you're there's a lot of Trump voters that I've seen that are like, no, I'm pro Trump. I'm not Republican, or I'm not conservative. Even Trump will say it's not about being a conservative, it's about being common sense or whatever. So if you're not kind of rooted in like the party sort of principles and stuff, and you like a couple things about Trump, like he's a fighter, and then maybe you're open to some other fighter. And if you're really upset about COVID, whose record do you prefer on COVID, I guess? Like, because Trump is like, I'm the father of the vaccine. So does that make you like, yeah, I should totally vote for Trump again? Or you're going to be like, no, that's one of the most important things is like, because Kennedy is talking about government censorship, especially regarding this vaccine stuff. He is like, anti-vax or whatever, or force vax, or he's skeptical of a lot of the stuff. And then he's, not big on the war stuff. So is there a sect of Trump people that he thinks that would be more attracted to him than like Biden voters? Well, Kennedy thinks so. Here's a short clip of him talking about it.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that I take more votes from President Trump than I do from President Biden.
Right. So why would that help them?
Yeah, it's not helping them.
Yeah.
So my camera has gone in and out. Okay. Give me 1 second. Sorry for the malfunction right there. Yeah, so Kennedy thinks that he will take away some Trump votes. Not sure why my background's not showing up. There we go. Sorry about that. So Kennedy thinks that he can take away some Trump voters, because people were saying, "Oh, he's just getting in to ruin Biden. How dare he?" People are still mad about Jill Stein, like, third party candidates in the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton has actually sounded the alarm as well, as far as Biden might have some issues. People are mad about Cornel West. He's running, I think, in the Green Party. He was running for somebody else, something else, and then he decided to move. So I think he is running as the Green candidate, but I saw a video of someone complaining about third party candidates. It was this black guy, and this woman had retweeted it. She's a Democrat, I think more kind of on the progressive side, and she's like, "I'm not voting for Biden. I don't like Biden. You can't make me do like the lesser of two evils thing. If I want to vote third party, I'm going to vote third party." And so in the video, the guy was complaining about, how basically you're going to help to get Trump elected. And he mentioned, things that Biden did that are good. And he mentioned the checks, the $2,000 checks or whatever. I think he said we got $1,400 checks. And I thought that was funny because like that was more than with Trump or something. And I'm like, you're bragging about a broken promise, bruh. Because Biden said if you elect Warnock and gosh, what's the other guy's name? The other person who won in Georgia. He's like, if you elect them, you're gonna get $2,000 checks. That's what they said. I still don't know for the life of me why they didn't just give everyone $2,000 checks like they said, but they didn't give us $2,000 checks. So it's a broken promise. It's a silly broken promise to me, because they spend so much money, they might as well give everyone the $2,000. But it was a broken promise. And then they were like, "Well, you already got a down payment of $600. I'm like, that was a whole nother man. That was a whole nother president. How dare you? Like, that wasn't your promise to make. You and Trump didn't do some kind of handshake backdoor deal or something. Like, yeah, this is a down payment. After I beat you, we'll give the $1,400. That's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. So, and you didn't say $1,400 while you were campaigning. You said $2,000. So, I just thought that was funny. I have to bring that up and do a separate video. Anyway, moving on. Trump and DeSantis were both at this event for the California GOP, I believe it was. And so Trump went into a spiel about DeSantis and how he turned California red. So I'm going to go ahead and show that. And then I'm going to show DeSantis's clapback because it was pretty good.
And in New Hampshire, DeSanctimonious has now fallen into 5th place. Oh, have I done a number on that guy? Have we done a number on him? Guy had no chance of getting elected governor. He came to see me, little tears in his eyes. He came to see me. "Sir, I need your help." What do you need my help for? I didn't even know him that well, but he was one of about 100 congressmen that would talk about impeachment hoax number 1 and impeachment hoax number 2 on television. So I saw him a little bit. "I need your help, sir. I'm not winning in Florida." He was losing by like 30 points or more. He was getting killed. It was over for him with the primary taking place in a short period of time. And I said, "Ron, if I were George Washington and Abraham Lincoln combined and I came back from the dead and I endorsed you, I don't think it would matter. You're gone, man." He said, "Sir, you're very popular in Florida." I got 1.2 million more votes than him. You keep hearing how many votes. I got 1.2 million votes than him. And I'm the one that turned Florida red, not him. He didn't turn Florida red. They all go on my fumes.
I'll go on my fumes. He's a funny guy. I'll give him that. But here is what Ron DeSantis said.
I understand that one of my residents was here earlier saying that he turned Florida red. All I will say is Ronald Reagan made the point, there's no limit to what you can do when you don't care who gets the credit. I just wish if he was the one that turned Florida red that he wouldn't have torn Georgia and Arizona blue, because that's not been good for us at all.
So, I thought that was a good comeback, which DeSantis has been repeating that. He was on Andrea Bomber? No, that's someone I worked with. What's her name? Fox Business. Maria. I can't remember her last name. But she said that, I mean, DeSantis said, so she asked him if he wanted to be Trump's VP, or if Trump made that call or whatever, and he said no, I'm running for president. And he said we need someone who can win Arizona and Georgia like Mitt Romney and McCain did. And so Trump influencers are so ticked off because they're like, oh, he's saying we need Republicans like them. And it's like, no, that's not what he said. That's not what he means. Um, he's saying that you need just someone who can win and carry those states. And it's questionable right now whether Trump can win those states. I think I don't, to be honest with you, I don't see the electoral path of victory there for him. Particularly in Georgia, I think it'll be really bad when they actually like have the trials and it's on TV. I think it's good. Again, I keep saying this. I think it's gonna be very hard when people are door knocking and people ask like, why did this man want to disenfranchise my vote? And you want me to vote for him now? I think that's gonna be rough. I mean, there's still enough red in Georgia, but Atlanta keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bluer. So you got to have pretty enthused people to go out there. And I don't think it helps that he's been at war with Kemp nonstop, and Kemp got reelected. People like Kemp in the state. I'm sure there's people who don't, but he's the governor there. And when he opened up Georgia, Trump was the one criticizing him on TV. That wasn't good. And Trump tried to run someone against Kemp. Kemp handedly won, that primary. So, I don't know. I think Trump has a very difficult, at this point, I think maybe, well, I guess it's not impossible. I won't say impossible. You never know what'll happen, but his path to electoral victory seems a little difficult right now, guys. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I guess it is sugarcoating it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just don't see it. But we'll see. We'll see. Biden is terrible, and as I said, we'll have to see how Cornel West might siphon some black votes from Biden, some other votes as well. He's a bigger name than other people who've run in third-party spots before, and we'll have to see how Kennedy pulls, and if he'll even go through with it in the long run. But it's going to be rough for Trump. But speaking of the Trump campaign, they did a prank that was pretty distasteful and weird, really weird. So he's been calling Nikki Haley Bird Brain lately. That's his new nickname for her. Not a great nickname, but a nickname nonetheless. So Nikki Haley, I guess out in Iowa, was doing campaigning. And she said, after a day of campaigning, this message was waiting for me outside of my hotel room. And from the Trump campaign. And it's a bird cage with some bird feed. Now, I did see some people say that she should get an orange like parrot or something, or some kind of orange bird, and put him in the cage. As a sign of things to come, or to mock him or whatever. It was not that funny to me when I first read it, but I don't know why I had that reaction there. But you see people like Cernovich here. I didn't realize it was Cernovich posting things like Jussie Smollett here because they think it's not true. And there are other people saying like, oh, well, I'm sure you'll show the security footage and all that stuff to prove that it happened. And it's a pretty wild, dumb thing. Unbecoming, I think, of a presidential campaign, that I can't blame people for thinking that it's fake, though it would be quite a dumb thing for Haley to fake. Though you could always say that, hey, maybe it's someone else, has nothing to do with the campaign, who sent it and just said from the Trump campaign. So maybe it's not true on that front. However, that doesn't appear to be the case. Because you got a reporter here who said at 1:30 a.m. the Trump campaign texted me the birdcage and feed photo in front of Haley's Des Moines hotel. After I woke up, we posted a story about it on Messenger. Now, some people are suggesting we fell for a hoax. LOL. Check some of the replies. The truth is out there. Some people are saying that this was a hoax, a false flag, and or that Trump's campaign didn't leave this. It was the Trump camp. So if you think it's too dumb to be real, it happened. It's there. There's I don't know, guys. We just got to do better. I think these campaigns, these congressmen, everybody needs to do better. I heard Ben talking about this earlier on his show and stuff. We talked about a lot of the same things, but I mean, it's news. Like the Bowman thing is crazy with the fire alarm. Again, I'm pretty sure he pulled that alarm to stall the vote. I don't think he was so panicked that he just thought the fire alarm would open the door. Everyone knows how a fire alarm works. The people in the media or the different Congress people are trying to sell us on that ridiculous story. Just grow up. Like, I didn't talk about Matt Gaetz and his feud with McCarthy, but there's just a lot of drama and silliness all around. But the bird cage thing, there's just so much at stake. Like the border thing that we talked about. Just focus eyes on the prize. Like Trump is so far ahead in the polls. He attacking Nikki Haley, attacking Ron DeSantis, he could say nothing and might do better in the polls, or his numbers won't change or whatever. He could just totally ignore them. He doesn't need to bother with them unless they somehow got on a debate stage together because their numbers crawled up and he needed to finally debate them or something. He doesn't need to say anything about them. And the fact that he feels so compelled to go at them, it's either, there's a couple things you could think of. Either there's internal polling that has people more of a threat than he that everyone else kind of knows. I don't have that data in front of me to show that anyone is close or whatever. Or he's just so annoyed with these people that he just can't help hitting them like this. And it doesn't make sense to me because Trump will rag on loyalty and other things like that. And he's mad. And he's explained this himself. Like, he finds DeSantis disloyal because he endorsed him. Like, he told that story, that exaggerated story about him crying, and which was funny how he told it, I'll admit. But, he's like, I endorsed him, and then, he decided to run. He's disloyal. And I don't get it. I don't get it. An endorsement isn't a blood pact. It's not a blood oath, which I don't want people to be making those. Those are creepy anyway. But it's just an endorsement, and it's politics. And he's not a king. One thing that I find very interesting about, people say, and it's a very compelling argument, that Trump can't be bought. Trump can't be bought because he has, I guess, so much money or whatever. He can't be bought. He can self-fund or whatever, so that he doesn't need to be bought. Now, just because people are rich doesn't mean that they can't be bought. And money might not be the only way they can be bought. Maybe they can be bought by other things and stuff. So it's not it's a compelling argument, but it's not foolproof. But let's go with that he can't be bought. But at the same time, people get really upset because other people Trump can't buy. That if he endorsed them, that they won't become like loyal slaves forever, parroting just, things that Trump wants to hear. If they don't do that, then they're disloyal. So, and Trump will feel that way, and the people who support Trump will also feel that way and attack people like DeSantis or whatever, and they'll say he's a traitor and whatnot. And he, a lot of people who dislike him now said that they would have voted for him, if he had waited till 2028, or would have liked him to be Trump's VP. But now he's disloyal, and now he's a globalist, blah blah blah, etc. So, but I don't know. People, to me, it seems like people feel that way because Trump feels that way. So, to me, it doesn't make sense that people like Trump because he can't be bought, but they are mad at people who Trump can't buy. It's like they don't have a problem with the pimp. They have a problem with the prostitute, but not the pimp. Is the issue. Because he's like, I own you. You have to do X, Y, and Z, or he's coming at you. And everybody is like, let's attack these people who are disloyal. But they admire the fact that Trump can do whatever he wants. Or it's an election, people run, people choose. And most people at this point in time looks like they're going to choose Trump and he'll be the nominee. That's not a guarantee, but it is what it is. At least how it's looking. Again, he does not need to call Haley bird brain. He doesn't need to obsess with Ron. He talks about Ron more. It seems like he talks about Ron more than he talks about Biden. And there's been more money spent. I know against DeSantis, at least the last I read, than there was about Biden, people attacking Biden. More money aimed at DeSantis trying to stop him. Trump just spent, which he doesn't have a lot of money. A lot of it's going to, his legal fees and stuff. But he's just spent a lot of money on mailers and other stuff like that to attack Ron. So there's all these arguments like Ron needs to stop, everyone needs to drop out, and everyone needs to coalesce and build up, voter rolls and do the fight against the ballot harvesting or fight, have a plan to work with it and do ground game and open up offices, and instead of having all these money for the super PACs and these DeSantis ads and stuff, they're just lighting money on fire. They need to just help the Trump stuff. And Trump could be doing that too, but it's like legal bills and attacking Ron. Legal bills and attacking Ron. So just let them fight. Don't try to stop encouraging people to drop out of, just because you want Trump to be the only one. People do want some kind of choice, and if it's inevitable, it's inevitable. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, that's all that I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please go to blacktnews.com, check out different content on my website, different articles, different videos, etc. If you like what I do here, please consider leaving a donation at blacktnews.com/donate. Cost of stream, cost to run my website, all that stuff, so you guys can support in that way. I thank you very much. Thank you to those of you who have helped. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you to those who watch, who comment in the chat. Thank you to those who watch it back later when you can. I very much appreciate you guys, faithfully watching every day as I continue to do this. And I know there's some people who have commented on YouTube and other places that my stuff hasn't been popping up as much. Make sure that, I assume people watching and who are in the chat and stuff, who watch every day, have subscribed and hit the notification bell. But just want to put a reminder out there that if you're on YouTube, I don't know why they do this, but you subscribe and hit the notification bell. But sometimes they still don't. Seems like they want stuff to pop up or whatever. So like when I go to my stuff, they'll show me things I'm not subscribed to. Like, I want to see what I actually subscribe to. So you guys know where to find me, every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. unless otherwise notified that something's going on or out of town or sick or something. So I'll be here. Yeah, that's it. Make sure you guys check out different merch at the site and stuff. And there is a Amazon wish list in the description if you guys want to help with some other things that I need to get and stuff. But thank you guys very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.